Hi there, I am live and welcome to the Call to Cinema. I'm Aaron. If you haven't been here before, welcome here for the first time. If you have, then welcome back. So, I didn't plan to make a video tonight because I was tired and we had like a really really cool, exciting date night where basically there was no, of course, we couldn't go to a Comic Con, so we actually watched the virtual Ottawa Comic Con and it was really fun to see. So I put up a poll, and I did put up kind of late. I had planned to put up earlier on in the night, uh, and I said, "So what do you want to see from me?" What I said, I plan on doing a collection video. I haven't done one in a while. I wanted to do something that's kind of relaxing and kind of fun to do. Then I realized how much I have, and I was thinking, this isn't relaxing at all. This is the opposite of relaxing, because I you chose Vinegar Syndrome. So I'm gonna guess a lot of you guys liked me, like when I talk about Vinegar Syndrome. Hey there, Wolf. Hey there, Alan. Um, so we got it here tonight. We got my complete Vinegar Syndrome collection. Uh, hey, thank you, Kane. Hope all's going well with you too. Now, yesterday I announced the big Vinegar Syndrome um, October sale. Well, sale, sorry, October package that's coming out. And I was extremely impressed with it. I thought it was the best one that the Vinegar Syndrome has done so far. That was a big deal for me. Let me open up the YouTube here so I can actually see your messages when they come through. And then people let me know that it wasn't just Vinegar Syndrome stuff that was that was out there. There was a there was a bunch of other stuff out there too, and by some different companies, some partner labels. And they're um, and that got me excited. And I'll let you know why. Basically, I'm a huge fan of Jenny Agutter, and I have wanted this movie for quite a long time, but I did not know that it was going to be put out. Well, I did actually. I knew since I knew that's not true. I knew from the Just a Disc episode that it was coming out, but I guess I just didn't realize it was coming out so soon, as in like as part of the October thing. So Fun City Editions did. Was it I Start Counting from with Jenny Agutter, directed by David Green. So when today I oh sure definitely my Instagram. Friday 13th returns to theaters for the 40th anniversary. Let me see, am I missing something there? Is it you said in my Instagram DMs? I do not think I've seen it, dude. Let me check my Facebook DM, my some other DMs as well. I do apologize. But the message doesn't look like it's come through. Message request. All right. So let me see. Ah, okay, definitely. Uh, sorry, how did I not get those messages? Follow back. How come I'm not following? Okay. Uh, you have a new Instagram account? All right. So, Pinga said here. Is it okay for me to say? Hey there, Richard. He's a little concerned about the price hike of the recent Vinegar Syndrome releases, and that I completely understand. They've because they've they've raised the price on like and definitely like on their titles. Now, to be fair though, Vinegar Syndrome hasn't raised the price like on theirs in a lot of time, in my opinion. And it is nice to hear what other people think about that as well. Um, I do think we're getting at a time we're paying for like kind of boutique, kind of collector's editions for things, and sometimes those get to be a bit more expensive. Actually, I was just going to get into that. Uh, Yes, there is. So, guys, anybody that's here right now, you've seen Brian come out here many, many times, and spend a lot of time, including yesterday, which was his birthday, by the way. Brian Sauer, who does Just to This and Pure Cinema podcast, now has his very own, his first YouTube channel. Um, so make sure that you 110% check out and sub to Brian's Just to This channel. He's taking his podcast and he's actually bringing new content to YouTube. He put up his first video. I think he did an amazing job with it. He talks about like a few labels, including Imprint, which is a label that I don't have any of yet. So it's really nice to see him like look at some of those and see some really great ones on there. So make sure tonight if you haven't already, check out Brian's Just to This podcast. Well, check his podcast, which I'm sure you guys already did. Check out his new YouTube channel. You know, hit that hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to see when Brian puts up new videos. We're trying to figure out exactly when he's going to do it, but the better response he gets, the more he gets to talk to you guys, and it's a nice addition onto the Just to This podcast. So I found it tonight when he was filming the video. He sent me a message, and I was like super stoked for him. The word that the Vinegar Syndrome Law fan base would encourage them to raise their prices even higher. I don't think so. I mean, like with any company, there's going to be a bit of a blowback when it comes to a price hike. Uh, some that's something that you know prices raise. Unfortunately, that's the thing. But I don't think if you've watched if you like the way Vinegar Syndrome like handles business, and this is my opinion. I read part of it actually. I've read the genesis of it, Penga. So is that with Vinegar Syndrome, I don't think that like a price hike is going to be something that you're going to see kind of be like a consistent thing. Uh, so it's like it's been a long time. Uh, it's a rough time right now for everybody, I guess. You know, and they have been like working harder to get more stuff out there, whether it be the box sets. They're going into 4K. I'm guessing all those things cost money. So what we see and what we pay, like I think it's $3 more, right? It's like $3 more. So that's not too bad overall, in my opinion. And as a company, and from what I've seen from Vinegar Syndrome over the past few years, like from following them and seeing the way that they handle like their customers and their clientele, they do not seem to me like a company that's just going to raise it for like for just like an arbitrary like reason for no reason at all. So that was my that you know that's my thought on it. I think it's actually it's raised from before, but they put on two amazing sales a year, at least, where things are go for 50% off, um, and for the price raise that is, it's negligible, and it's definitely like there with like other companies. So and they put in it's still the best box set looking and the best like slip covers in the business, right? No, I don't see that at all. I mean, like, yes, they raised the price, but at the same time, I don't see that like that, like at all. Like I don't see them as being as being like a bad move. Hey there, Jason. Welcome, man. You're watching this Shame on Screen Factory. Thank you. I actually bought that box set afterwards, so I was kind of a hypocrite. But just to let you know, I bought it for my kid too. But I was really impassioned and fierce during the video. Um, a lot of people found it through that video. The guy that had like the Vinegar Syndrome's new pricing versus shipping. See, I don't think so. I mean, like it's still for me, like it's $100, over $100, shipping's free in Canada. Uh, $50 shipping's free in the U.S. and $175 shipping is free internationally. And they said there's going to be some more like new. There's going to be some other stuff that's going to be coming out that that we don't know about. And that's kind of that's for me that's like that's that's pretty good. The only time their shipping isn't free usually is during sales. But they said there was some new information coming out on shipping, so that maybe they're lowering shipping prices as well. Uh, and I gotta agree with Indy. Thank you, Indy, for coming in here because I'm feeling a little bit like uh, that. I think the price is definitely reasonable for what they do, uh, for the work that they put into it, for the quality of the stuff that we get from Vinegar Syndrome. You're gonna see it here in a minute, and uh, and the quality of the transfers. The quality of the transfers of Vinegar Syndrome is usually amazing. Uh, the slip covers, the whole thing. Yep, that's just my opinion. But I had to grab. Hey there, George. Welcome, man. I had to grab the sale. I'm sorry. I had to grab the October bundle. Like I could not grab the October bundle. There was just too much good stuff in there for that. Uh, and I went ahead and I grabbed Fun City editions. I start counting as well. For me, Vinegar Syndrome is still, with a $3 price hike, still one of the best like going companies that we got that are still putting in the work and the effort. When sometimes I think that some companies at some points drop the ball a bit, but I don't think they've ever done that. That's my thoughts. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get into all these there. So you want to see exactly what Vinegar Syndrome has. Uh, just going to go through these, and if there's anything here you want me to stop at, I'll stop at it. Uh, on until Friday 13th. I know I'm excited. One thing I do have to say, and I got to say this right now at the gate. This morning I did my my video with Daisuke, and it was a blast. It was incredible, and he's an amazing guy. If you're not sub to his channel, please make sure you sub to his channel because he's just such a smart guy, um, and somebody that I actually truly respect when it comes to YouTube. He knows his stuff, and he's such a humble guy too. And I think we went for over like 2 hours. Not sure how much of it's going to be on there, but sometime next week, I think he's going to be putting it up. I'll let you guys know when that is. Uh, he came here from Daisuke. Daisuke is amazing. We did a video together here, Andrew, and so you're going to see that on his channel in the very near future. And he's a guy that that when I like to talk about like the YouTube community and the movie collecting community, he's one of those guys that pays it forward, that stays positive, that is very smart. He's got a very cool analytical mind that I really admire. So when I found out that he actually liked my channel, that was a big deal for me as a YouTuber. Because for me, I see myself as like, I don't have as many subscribers. I'm smaller. It's like I'm a smaller channel than he is. But he actually, he he saw my stuff even before he started, making videos, which is pretty incredible. I'm gonna have a custom made shelf for DVDs in Morocco. Yes, you got to actually. You're not gonna be able to go. Well, there's IKEA's there, but for the type of condo that we have, yes, we're gonna need a custom place. So before I lose viewers, I am going to start on the on this whole journey into. I've been at this beard. See, it's been growing right over these YouTube views. I'll start on this. You want to see boxed or slip covered or regular Vinegar Syndrome first, as we talk. Like we can talk about anything you want to, but I promised to show my Vinegar Syndrome titles on here. I did a poll and everything. So you want to see box. So we'll go with the slip cover stuff first, which is good because I can actually put it back as I get some of this done. So we'll start with the just yeah. So number 60. Regular. Now we got. I need a tiebreaker now. So we got somebody one wants slipped, one wants boxed. Somebody be the tiebreaker. So one wants slip, one wants regular. Alan, I'm not liking the count. Uh, hey Ryan. Okay, slip covers. We're gonna go for slip covers. Okay. So first off is one that it was a slip cover like later on, but initially it wasn't, and that is their Christmas Evil slip cover. This actually was sent to me, uh, and I love the way this is done. This is number 60 in the Vinegar Syndrome uh, collection. Now, the very first slipcover they did, though, uh, was the Undertaker, and the Undertaker was I wasn't sure, to be bluntly honest with you. When I saw the Undertaker, the slip like on the computer before I even had it, I'm not quite sure. Actually, I'll check that out later, Kubrick. I'm not sure how many I have box. Oh, I'm sure with slip covers. But when I got it, I understood it. I am getting the October package. I'm getting the October package, and I start counting with a Genagler by Fun City Editions. So those are the two that like I always get the October package. Uh, I really couldn't afford it this year, but at the last second, my better half was like, you know what? This is something you do every year. This is something you look forward to, and there's movies on there that you that you've been wanting for a long time, and it's true. Who Done It is one that I wanted to see get a Blu-ray edition for forever. I never thought it would because the quality of Who Done It when I saw it was so crappy that I didn't think any company was going to want to touch it. The Utopia Blu-ray, I couldn't believe that. See, I didn't even think about it. I thought I'll grab the Utopia one down the road, but I'm guessing it's a new company, and it was an intriguing like film idea. Oh, thank you. But I did buy Deadly Games. But I appreciate that, Wolf. You are not you're awesome. I got the package because she said at the last minute, like 11th hour, we're like, you know what, we'll tighten the belts for a little bit. Uh, I'm going on like on vacation for a week, so I had to go for it. So the second one is The Undertaker. Now, initially, hey there, Scotter. When I saw this online, I didn't like it. I thought, it's kind of standard. It's like um, orange, kind of reddish color, and I didn't really get it. But when I got it, like, and I watched the film, and I looked at the cover, and I saw like kind of the odd, like the bloody handprints and stuff. I really, really like the way this cover is done now. Now, this being said, this was like their first cover. Anybody that got this knows that this was like the tight one. Hey there, Chris. So this one was like super tight. Remember this, guys? When Undertaker came out, it was like this super tight one. It's like got better over time, but when it initially came out, yeah, all these are blue pinga. This was a super tight. Like okay, so even right now, like just watch. It's like you can get it out, but there's a little bit of effort to it. Um, but this was the first one that I picked up, and this one is like it was their prototype set. Exactly, it was the first one they did, and of course there was Jack Frost, which I showed on here last night. So I won't go too much into this one. I love the cover to Jack Frost. I am super into lenticular covers. I wish they would do more of them. I'm a big kid like that. If there's anything you want to know about any of these along the way, just let me know. But Psycho Cop Returns. This actually is kind of like a slasher comedy, much more comedic than the original Psycho Cop. Actually, the original Psycho Cop is okay, but I wouldn't say it's like it's one of the great ones. They haven't put it out actually, but I remember seeing it back in the day. Now that being said, maybe when I originally saw Psycho Cop, I was thinking of like okay, Maniac Cop, and didn't compare. But Adam Rifkin did this one. Oh no, this is Jack Frost. This is like a horror film, like a little bit of horror film. Actually stars well, one of the stars in it is Shannon Elizabeth. Would go on to be like in many films, but she's in this one here. The 4K releases, well, they did have the lenticular ones. Now this one is a new 4K release. is going to be like embossed as opposed to lenticular. And I'm glad they're mixing it up, um, because I don't want to see everything come out like the 4K just to be automatically lenticular. Hey there, SJ, welcome. Watching hockey. Uh, enjoy the hockey, man. Um, I got a video coming up on Dice Case channel, so if you haven't seen his stuff, definitely check him out. He mentioned some interesting things on there and something about like Halloween, which he's thinking about doing. So keep an eye out for that because he dropped some really cool news. This is one of my favorites of the Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers, and it's so simple, but it is such a good movie too. And if you don't have this movie in your collection, you kind of should. I'm not quite sure. Vinegar Syndrome, I've heard like rumors that they're gonna release Jack Frost too, but those are just rumors. I have no like verification on that at all. So I'd say it's just people like kind of wishful thinking. And this is My Chauffeur with Deborah Foreman and Sam Jones, of course, from a Flash Gordon fame. And it's such a simplistic cover, but I love it. And anybody that's ever seen Deborah Foreman in a movie immediately falls in love with her. It's like when you watch Amy Steele. She just has that personality that that you automatically love her. Daisuke is an amazing person. He's definitely a good friend, and he's a guy that I followed on YouTube. I didn't know that he was watching my videos, so when I found out that he was, I was very flattered by it because the guy one he makes amazing content, and he's a very smart guy. He definitely knows his stuff. It was a really nice interview to do. He was extremely complimentary, and that kind of takes me off guard because I don't know. Sometimes I'm not good with that type of stuff. But he is such a sweetheart, and he does such amazing stuff. 110%. I don't think I've ever played like anything over than the regular price for a vinegar syndrome slip. Like if it's there, then I'll grab it. But I'm not somebody that goes out and says, okay, the slip's not there. If the slip's not there, I'm just gonna buy the regular edition. Like I won't go out of my way to go and grab like a slipcover edition of a film. If it comes my way for a regular price, then I'll normally get it. But I'm not somebody that has to like grab the slip. I love if I get the chance, I will grab it. I like the movies. The Descent. I love The Descent. Actually, that's an underrated classic. And I actually like The Ring. I like the Asian films of The Ring best. Still slipcover. Well, watching the movie. This is the Dayglow edition of Orgy of the Dead. Actually, I really like this film. It is so cheesy. AC Stevens. If you know AC Stevens stuff, then you know what this is going to be. A lot of like nudity and like bad burlesque dancing in it, but definitely a great one. Next up is a Phyllis Davis film, and that is Sweet Sugar. I love the slipcover of this one. I love this film. This is one I've watched several times. My Chauffeur is a good one, Brian. It's definitely worth checking out. And if you don't have this one, Brian, get this one. This is really cool. So, Jason, another fan. So this one actually has Phyllis Davis in it. Pamela Collins is here as well. Really cool, like like kind of like the women in prisons in the the Philippines type of film. You love Orgy of the Dead, you get extra cool points. This is actually a really cool cover. Now the actual inside cover is this right here, which actually is really nice as well. Next up is Demon Wind, which of course is another one of the particular covers. This is fun. Demon Wind is like a kind of a low budget Evil Dead with with really well. The one thing I say to people is like, have you ever seen a movie where a kung fu magician fights demons? Because if you didn't, then you should. And don't listen to Kubrick on this one because Demon Wind is cheesy fun. It's exact because movies like Demon Wind know exactly what they are. They're not trying to be anything other than what they are, and that is like cheesy, fun, really cool. Yeah, it's definitely it's super low budget. Like it's a regional low budget film. Yeah, it's like it's a typical like '80s horror rental from back in the day that probably made its most of its money from the lenticular VHS cover. Um, but it's fun. It's actually a really fun one. Tough Guys with Kirk Douglas. I actually like that. I like Kirk Douglas. Kurt Douglas. Sorry, I got it wrong. Is it Kirk? No, Kurt. Ah, Kirk. Right, Kirk Douglas. I did get it right. No, not camcorder low budget. The Sucklings one we'll get into too as well. Bloodbeat again is another really cool one. So this is actually is kind of like a this is a Christmas horror movie. Uh, and yeah, this is no killer Santa Claus, but you do get a possession and a ghost ninja and a ghost samurai. So who doesn't want to see that in their films? One of their amazingly like artwork on the slipcover. I love the slipcover of this one. This is fun and cheesy. It's not my favorite Ted V. Michaels film. That's gonna be Astro Zombies. Uh, but the Corpse Grinders is actually really fun as well. And so basically, this movie here, if you've never seen it, it's these guys are making cat food, and they're like kind of like but they're making cat food out of dead bodies. And that what happens then? Why cats get the taste of human flesh, and the taste of human flesh is utterly delicious. So it is hilariously fun and low budget, and super cheesy. Uh, One of the movies that Vinegar Syndrome put out that kind of scared me the most, and it was like one that like had really bad acting, and I wasn't quite sure, but it was just the ending of the film kind of got to me, and after I thought about it a long time after I watched the film, and you're gonna be surprised. Actually, I think that a lot of you guys are gonna be surprised with this, and that's Disconnected. Disconnected freaked me out. Um, that's because you have great taste, Brian. Um, Disconnected freaked me out. The ending of this movie, like, there's some horrible acting in this film. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna like kind of tell you that this has amazing acting. It doesn't. It's got some pretty bad acting, but there's some sequences in this film, and the ending of the film, it just it just kind of shook me because it seems so real. There was no convoluted like reasoning behind the murders or the killer. There wasn't any big like explanation. It just is, and unfortunately, the reality of the situation is, in real life, uh, killers are often like that. They are. Did you like it, Jason? Um, they're just like some unassuming person in the background that you mightn't even notice. And Disconnected really stood out to me that way because when it gets to the ending of the film, I was like, yeah, hey Al, um, I was like, this is yeah, I need to watch this movie again. And there's like a really good like feature on here, like a kind of like a short film you did called 20 Questions. I think it runs around like maybe like 40 minutes long or 60 minutes long, something like that. But it's really neat where people are being asked like these questions on camera, and their responses and stuff are filmed. Really well done and fantastically kind of like I think it was a student film that he did, but I really enjoyed that. Uh, Probably one of the best films Norman J. Warren ever made, and that is Prey. This is really well done. Um, it could just it could have been just a cheesy alien comes down to earth type of thing, but it becomes like a story of like really three or four people. Well, really three people. It becomes a story of three people, and becomes a character study between like how he comes between this couple, these two girls. that are a couple, and what happens once he's put into the mix, and basically into the situation. Love this film, and has lots of cool art. I think they had like three or four artworks on this one. Another Norm J. Warren one, which I really enjoyed. Not wasn't my favorite, but I did enjoy it. Are these movies old? Well, some of these are older. Like, it depends. Like some of these are like 70s or 80s. Uh, they usually go like to do like older type of films. Um, but they always try to find stuff that a lot of labels have overlooked, or that haven't gotten like a good release, and some of them are cheesy, like horror stuff. Some of them I think have a lot more under the surface than a lot of people give them credit for. Yeah, Brian's video on Imprint, on Just to This, by the way. Make sure you check that out. Uh, Terror is another Norman J. Warren film. Not my favorite, actually, by Norman J. Warren. It's a fun film. It's like a witchcraft film, but it shows its roots a bit more. I agree with you, Jason. And we will get Bloody New Year. Penitentiary. I love the cover on this one. Terror is actually my least favorite Norman J. Warren film, too. Hey, Logan, welcome back, man. I think we're getting a good box set from Vinegar Syndrome. Uh, well, from what I heard, unless they pushed it back again, uh, isn't the Forgotten Jolly box set coming, or is that coming in 2021 now? Like the Volume 2. I'm going through all my Vinegar Syndrome here, man, so uh, it tends to be. And by the way, Logan, I did end up picking up the October bundle, and I grabbed I Start Counting with it. I think you're really going to like I Start Counting. If you didn't check into that one, Logan, from Fun City Editions. Jenny Agutter stars in it, directed by David Green, prolific English director, who has kind of a neat kind of story behind him too, like some of the stuff he did later on. Like he would be the guy that would go into. I'm gonna put these back so I can actually do more of this. Um, David Green would direct some interesting TV films as well. All right, so hold on a sec, guys. I think I can do this without falling on my ass. But the director of I Start Counting, David Green, actually made two like remakes of of very famous films, like the TV version. And one of them he made was a TV remake of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, with the Redgrave sisters, with Lynn and Vanessa Redgrave. And I think shortly before or shortly after that, he also did a remake of Night of the Hunter for TV with starring Richard Chamberlain, which was interesting. It's interesting to see those films. Obviously, they're not up to the quality of the originals. They're TV films, but they are interesting actually. And so it's nice to see like an early David Green film with a very early Jenny Agutter in it as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And if you guys haven't looked at the Fun City Edition stuff, you really definitely should. I don't know them personally. I know that Brian from Just the Discs is a good friend with actually the guy. Like he's known the guy that did Fun City editions. He's known him for years, and he's had him on his channel. I don't have the original, the first one they put out, Alphabet City. I wish I did because that looks like a really really cool one. TV remake. I'm not sure he did the Double Indemnity remake. All right, so this next up is Penitentiary 2, which of course is Leon Isaac Kennedy again, and of course I pity the fool that don't like Mr. T. So I was watching an auction tonight on it was Ottawa Comic Con auction, and they had like an autographed Mr. T comic, Mr. T and the T Force. Remember that comic, guys? I do. I'm old enough to remember it. So it was a '90s comic, and anyway, so it was autographed, and I think like the bidding went crazy on that one. It was one of the highest bids on the whole thing. Do I think there's too many releases now with sub labels? I don't really think so. I mean, like at the end of the day, there's sub labels, so you don't have to get them. That's the thing. This is a fun one, Jason. You'll like this one. It's crazy. Like the first like Penitentiary is more serious, and this one goes all out. Like the Ernie Hudson takes over the role as the bad guy. Like he's cast, and Mr. T's in this one as a kind of a trainer in the prison. It's really cool. Uh, but no, I think like the end of the day, they're putting out a lot of like they're getting in the 4K, the same as Blue Underground. They're not gotten as far into as Blue Underground has, but they're doing 4K. They're doing like some box sets. Um, I like the fact that they're working with other labels. It just gives you more options out there. At the end of the day, if you want to get the Vinegar Syndrome stuff, you can just get the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. But I do think that these new labels, that these sub labels that they're working with, is actually, yeah, I'm on the board with Logan here. It's actually pretty genius, and it lets you like really, and as scholars, it adds to definitely more variety. You take the words right out of my mouth, um, and to more options as well. So I like the Fun City editions, definitely. I was really surprised Utopia one went so fast, but I'm very pleased. I didn't manage to pick that one up myself. For those of you that managed to get it, uh, super. Fear the Wolfman's a favorite of mine, Brian. Uh, you have good taste, but yeah, I'm super impressed with what they're doing, because what you got to do as a company is you can't let yourself stay stagnant. You can't let yourself fall behind. You got to keep pushing forward. Whether you're a movie company or or a YouTube channel or anything, you keep going forward. That's the kind of person I am, and I think that's the way that it works. The way it should work with companies as well. Is my discussion, and it was amazing. I got to say, I had an incredible time with Daisuke. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoyed talking to him. He is an amazing interviewer, and he just is so good at bringing like things out that I wouldn't even thought about without him. And we will be like he did ask me to come back on again, so I said yes, 110%. I will go back on to it and do another video with him again in the near future. So I look forward to that. So if you like this video here with me and Daisuke, hopefully we'll do one in the future, because he has asked me to, and I've already said yes. And there's other topics we want to get into. It's a win-win. Fun City is getting an already established fan base with the Vinegar Syndrome fan base, plus Vinegar Syndrome gets products to sell. That's true. Did I miss me? No, you did not miss me praising Blood Games yet, which is an amazing film. The, oh, I'm sorry. Daisuke. That's his first name, and the last name is Beppu. He does a lot of talk on Criterion. He does a lot of really great Criterion stuff. Even the old Criterion Laserdiscs. He's got a lot of those too. But he talks about a lot of stuff. But he's really, really like knowledgeable. Uh, Thank you, Amy. So, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. This is the movie that launched the black exploitation genre. Now, this is definitely more of an indie art house film than like what you would assume black exploitation would become later on. But still, this was Melvin Peebles. He was an artist. You can tell that when you watch this movie. It is definitely more of an art house indie film with some very bold choices, as opposed to like the regular black exploitation, like the more commercialized stuff that it would become. Oh, he's an amazing guy to talk to. Like we've chatted back and forth, and we finally were able to get it together. It was my fault that it took so long, because as you guys know, I'm super slow at getting things done. He does. He has those. I love those glasses. I'm jealous of those glasses. Okay. Next up is Pets, which is one that you guys know. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know this is a favorite of mine. I My mom used to own a convenience store, and we had like some movies that we had like a movie shelf where we rented films. But we bought the movies from this guy, and unfortunately, he had thrown out all the cases for every one of the VHS films that we bought. So it was my job to actually sit down and watch every one of the films that we bought. It was a big case, like big box of VHS, uh, and pretty much like give descriptions of them so people would know what they were buying because there was just like the tapes with the names. They weren't like bootlegs or anything like that. They were the actual films. He just got rid of the cases. Um, so I just had to go through everything, and Pets was one of them, and I really fell in love with this film. Uh, did you really? I'll check that out. Hopefully, I didn't look too bad. But this is a really fun film, a really different, really unique, uh, and out of like a lot of this one has some really good stuff. And I love the artwork on this. If I would have like one like pet peeve on the artwork with this film, it's right here uh, on the back here. When you see the girl, it's almost like her head is like super huge, and kind of like put onto the body. See what I mean? Doesn't that look like she's a bobblehead? Is it just me? Because I was kind of bothered by that when I saw it. Like this is this gorgeous cover, and this kind of like stands out. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm sorry, Ryan. All right, next up is one that has an amazing cover, but it's not what you think it is. Uh, I have trouble explaining to the missus. My better half doesn't watch like if it's the adult film, she doesn't watch those at all. She has no problem with me watching them. She's just not her thing. Um, Deadly Daphne's Revenge. So I bet you're expecting to see a lot of this Deadly Daphne girl, aren't you? Huh? Well, you're not going to. Is this scene going to be? Yeah, this scene is going to be a very important scene near the end of the film. Pretty important. And if you read about this movie, and it tells you that a girl gets picked up, and then there's like then there's rape, and she's sexually assaulted, and she's like, and you think, well, I guess it's going to be one of those like, kind of spit in your grave, last out on the left, really disturbing type of films. It's going to be one of those rape revenge films, right? No, not that either. Uh, Not that at all. Actually, it. I don't think she's supposed to be in blackface. I just basically I think is where she was like out of the asylum and she's been out around and like her face is all like kind of like just muddied up and dirty from kind of like hiding in the woods. Um, it's just a really strange film though, but it's fun. It's weird. It's unique. I like it. I like it a lot. But it's not for everyone. Speaking of movies that aren't for everyone, but that I like a lot. Um, did they really? It's been a long time since I've seen it. I have to go back and watch it. Okay, I apologize, but I never picked up on that. So that shit goes to show you sometimes I just don't. Not quick on the uptake with that one, man. Blood Theater, but this is not one movie. This is two movies. So if you like movies by Rick Sloan, and who doesn't like Hobgoblins and Vice Academy, well, a lot of people apparently, but I do. Then you're going to get two movies. You're not just going to get Blood Theater, which by the way has the amazing Mary Wernoff, who is a acting like God for me. I love Mary Wernoff and anything she's in. Her and Paul Bartel, amazing. Uh, but you also get a second film called The Visitants on here, which is kind of like a sci-fi film. So two movies for the price of one. And I actually kind of dig this one. Yes, please do give it a thumbs up. That way, the more thumbs up that it gets, the easier it is going to be for me to like actually get the notifications. How many Vinegar VSA titles are there now? I'm not up to date yet. There's two more that have come out since the ones that I got. Don't worry. When I say I'm going to show all my Vinegar Syndrome titles, Stay around, Ryan, because I'm going to show my VSAs as well. So yeah, uh, you got that. You got that to look forward to. Next up is House of the Dead. It's an anthology film. It's definitely a very low budget anthology film. It's uneven. I did like portions of it, but it's a bit of an odd one. It's one of the maybe a bit one of the lesser on the in the Vinegar Syndrome like a great cover, wonderful cover art. But it's a bit of a weird film. There's one story in it, and I don't know if it's meant to be comedic or not, but it's hilarious. And it basically has this guy that's going on dates, and he has a camera in his apartment. Um, so basically, what the whole idea of the story is that he goes on a date. Like he has a girl come over to his place, like it's a blind date type of thing. She notices the camera, and then he strangles her. And that happens a few times before until he gets arrested. It's really weird. Uh, it's but for me, it was like the second most enjoyable story in it, and the most enjoyable one was probably I would have to say the one where the guy's like he's really rich. Welcome back, Kubrick. He's really he's kind of like he's well to do, and he won't give like this bum some money, and then some stuff happens to him, and yeah, it's not one of the greater ones. It's like it's a it's a decent horror anthology, AME, but it's on the lesser. Like it's not as bad as something like some of the other ones, but it's not a creep show. It's not creep show 3 bad, but it's you know it's definitely it's a sale price one. Like it's a fun sale price one. This here, however, Dear Dead Delilah, I really liked. Oh, From Beyond the Grave is a great horror anthology. This is not from me. That was not from Beyond the Grave. I like the kind of Southern Gothic, the ones that they kind of slip in there that you don't think Vinegar Sin would ever put out. And like this movie here has Agnes Moorehead in it. Robert Gentry's in this film. Will Gear is in this. Michael Ansara's in this film. And for those that don't know, Michael Ansara is the voice of Mr. Freeze in Batman the Animated Series. Um, so a fun one. See, every once in a while you see, and if like I know like Andrew, you new here, um, they'll put out like these really kind of like crazy films. And you're like, what the heck? And all of a sudden you see them put out something that's really different and really that kind of is challenging a bit. And they have done some like stuff like that as well. Putney Swoop, which I don't have, is another one that is always recommended to me by people. They say that I need to get Putney Swoop. Yep, the mother-in-law from Bewitched. Uh, Shot, which I showed on you yesterday, so I'm not going to spend too much time on. It was a movie that I think was shot for under $5,000. It's a kind of a student film, action film, and I really enjoyed that. Putney Swoop is directed by Robert Downey Sr. You're correct. No, no, these a lot of these movies are super unknown. Some of these aren't. Like Putney Swoop was Robert Downey Sr., uh, who definitely is pretty pretty well known. There's like a lot of there's some films here that are bona fide classics. A lot of these are kind of what you call sleeper hits. Uh, Not every one of these is going to be for everybody though. There's ones that are going to be definitely more mainstream, and other ones that are going to kind of like push conventions. And I like that. I like that fact that they push conventions. Vinegar Cinema is a company that like, and when they first started out, was known for like doing adult titles. By the way, none of the stuff I've shown here has been adult titles. But they moved into like doing like horror and exploitation and like thrillers, and then they moved into like some social commentary films as well. So they've done like a lot of different stuff. They're a company like like when people say I'll buy any Criterion even if it's a blind buy because I find that I enjoy it. That's the way that I feel about Vinegar Syndrome. Night Beast, Don Dollar, man. So Death by Temptation. This one, when it came out for the October package, this was the one I was least interested in. I was kind of, man, am I gonna like it? It's Kadeem Harrison. I know him mostly from a different world, or James Bond Jr. Or James Bond Third, right? James Bond Jr. is a cartoon. James Bond third. Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie. So this one has a quite a cast. Actually, this is a really good film, and it completely won me over. Uh, I was completely wrong on this film. I thought this was going to be like just an iffy type film. It turned out to be way way better than I expected. And having like Bill Nunn and with Samuel L. Jackson stuff in this, super cool. Another classic, and I wish Vanessa was here right now because I know she bought her first Vinegar Syndrome last night. That this is one here. Oh, this is when Samuel L. Jackson was still doing early stuff, like when he wasn't in all movies. This is a young Samuel L. Jackson, uh, and actually he's really good. See, I can't. I used to watch trailers, Scholar, but now I can't because um, right. I find that sometimes the trailers just show too much, so I have to stop watching them. But one of the biggest surprises for me for that Vinegar Syndrome put out was The Killing Kind. By the way, the artwork in this is incredible if you look at it. And The Killing Kind is so good. See, I can blind buy. See, this one Vinegar Syndrome me exactly. Vinegar Syndrome blind by Kino as well. Oh, James Bond Jr. was a cartoon series actually. Um, they actually had a video game too. The Killing Kind stars John Savage. Uh, it has Ann Southern, I think, in her final role. Ruth Romaine is in this one here. Cindy Williams from Vernon Shirley. Hey CK, welcome man. Thank you. Welcome to the Call to Cinema. You're now a cult member. Welcome CK guys. Uh, Hopefully you like this one. This was a really good film. I did not expect this to be what it was, um, but it amazed me. Yeah, Ernest Dickerson shot Death by Temptation, and Ernest Dickerson is incredible. He also did Tales from the Hood. Uh, what did I think of James Bond? You mean the cartoon? uh, it's fun. I enjoyed it. Got to put some of these over in a second. Here's one that I love. You guys know I love this one, and it has like I know that Brian's not such a big fan. At least was Kubrick, Brian, and it has Tiny Tim and Peter Krause in it. So obviously it's got to be a good film. That is Blood Harvest. So I adore this film. It is insane. And I think one of the reasons I love this movie is Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim sells me on this film. Like I mentioned on it before, but his character breaks my heart. I come from like a small town area. That's where I initially grew up with and grew up in, and I lived in Newfoundland, and we had like the moratorium, like the fishing moratorium, that affected a lot of people. Like a lot of people had grown up, like their grandfathers had fished and their fathers had fished, and that was them. That was going to be like them too. Uh, but the moratorium happened, like overfishing had been done, and the moratorium happened, and then all of a sudden, a lot of people were unsure of where they were going to be and what their future held when for the entirety of their life, and especially if they're older and they had to be retrained or yeah, I don't imagine. So it was hard. It was a hard time. And Tanya Tim's character kind of reminds me of like what happened with some of them, in that like it broke them. It broke some people. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry. Do you know where to start with YouTube channel, George? Um, d- just do a test video for yourself. Talk about stuff that interests you, that excites you. If you know when talking about movies, you got an amazing indicator collection as among other stuff. So find find the stuff that speaks to you that you feel passionate about. Um, that's the key. If you love it and you're passionate about it, it's gonna show. If you're doing it just to be like just because it's YouTube, and for a money thing, don't do it for that. Do it for the love of it. And I know you, George. You're a guy that is passionate about the stuff that you do, and you spend a lot of money and a lot of time on it. So definitely like that. Chris, you definitely should do a comic channel. You've got an amazing collection and you're amassing stuff every day. I would watch your comic channel. I'm a huge comic book fan, and there's not enough comic book content, like in my opinion, out there. I got the comic Drake and Kara and maybe a couple others. So yes, Chris, I'd love to see that. George, uh, I look forward to it. And by the way, when you do it, please let me know because I will definitely pimp it out on the channel. All right, here's one of the best things that Vinegar Sim ever put out. It is one that I actually mentioned on when I was talking to Daisuke today, and that is Incubus. Incubus is based on a book, but the ending of it is like changed dramatically. So if you've read the book, don't expect it to be like just like the book. John Cassavetes stars in this film, and he does he has some amazing kind of bold and brave acting choices. But Cassavetes is like that. That's what he does. But it's not just Cassavetes. Like there's some great, like John Hoff directed this, and he does some. There's some great camera shots in there. John Cassavetes, John Ireland, Kiri Keane. She's a famous Canadian actress, by the way. Photographed by Albert J. Dunk, who did Class of 1984. Scored by Stanley Myers, of course, who did the score of for the Deer Hunter. This is class all the way, and it is an amazingly well done. Uh, Kubrick Lover does have a film. Kubrick Lover is a really big fan of Criterion too. So if you like Criterion stuff, like the Dice Guy talks about as well, you might want to check out Kubrick Lover. He's a big proponent for Criterion, and not just a lot of us. Yeah, I assume obviously we all don't, but a lot of us do here have channels, guys. So that's the thing. If you're new here and you don't realize, like AME, for instance, Triple Feature Creatures that Ryan, he's got a channel on. He's got a channel. A lot of the people that come on here have channels. When you see Brian Sauer, who comes on here a lot, has two podcasts, just this podcast, and he has Pure Cinema podcast, and now he has a YouTube channel too, which started up tonight. Just to this YouTube channel, I'd recommend you check that out. Uh, Daniel, who's on here, um, he has a podcast as well called Gothic Cinema Podcast. So we have a lot of really creative people on this channel that have their own videos, their own channels, their own podcasts that are doing like a lot of amazing stuff. The one thing I can say, and I'm very proud about, is that it has been something that has gotten Gothic cinema. Yeah, he does talks about a lot of Hammer stuff. We've talked about I've been on it there a couple times. We talked about some William Castle films on there. I was on there for an episode with the Hammer Mummy one, which Amy, thank you so much. It's my first super chat one of the night, and you're thank you. Warlock, yeah, Warlock's that would having a channel. Um, and Warlock knows his stuff too. So if you ever had a channel, it'd be a good one. I would definitely watch it. Yeah, and sometimes we just have kind of like my channel started out as being a channel for my family, to just to see stuff, and some of my friends to just to kind of to document stuff, and it grew over years. But I've been on this platform now for about 8 going on 9 years, pretty 9 years now, I say. And the truth of the matter is, for a lot of that time, thank you, Jason. Um, for a lot of that time, I had 20 viewers or 50 viewers, and I would be super excited if I broke 100 viewer, um, like on my channel. It was a big deal for me, and I'd be like, oh, that's so cool. The HMV Chronicles were like, yeah, exactly. Probably that's where you found me at too. The HMV Chronicles was when HMV was closing down, and I started to do those. I started to chronicle the closing of HMV and going there and what it would pick up, and that started to catch on. I think it was the live videos and the podcast that really kind of like did this, and I've been lucky enough to like work with a lot of really cool people. Heath Holland, of course, Cyril at Midnight. Um, we got like I've got to work with Daisuke today, and I've done stuff with Cinema Dave, who's another amazing guy on here. Definitely doesn't get enough credit. He's really good. And I've been on a few podcasts, and I've all through pure luck and you know totally honored to do that. The Lone Ranger box set, like that's actually a favorite of mine. I got to catch it whenever. My channel is pretty much just me. Essentially, Kurt tells that so many people have, but you focus on capturing your education. Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody that's doing their stuff. Uh, Thank you, 918. Welcome, man. So welcome to the College Cinema. Thanks for commenting. Um, and I actually really appreciate that. I was frustrated. I was kind of frustrated for a few different reasons. I needed to find my voice again. And it took, and sometimes when you're doing YouTube for a long period of time, that can take a while. You can get burnt out. That happens a lot. Just got to find your niche, what you love, and when you're doing it for the love of it, uh, that takes that takes a lot of the pressure off. So when I come down here to do a video now, the only thing that I really got to think about, I don't have the word think about like viewer count or anything like that. What I normally think about is I try to think. But hey, Daisuke, welcome, man. I was talking about you just a minute ago. Actually, for a bit, and at the beginning of the video as well. Yeah, find your focus. Find what you love. The legend is here himself, Daisuke. He took a lot of time with me during the interview, so I really appreciate that. By the way, we're going through the Vinegar Syndrome, and we talked Vinegar Syndrome. So Daisuke, afterwards, right after the video that we did there, I spoke to my better half. Well, I just said like pretty much I said hi, and I said I got to make breakfast, and she was like, you know, she's a fan of your channel. So she's like said, congratulations on the video. Said, you want to grab the October bundle for Vinegar Syndrome? And I'm like, yes, yes, I do. But can we afford it? She says, no, but let's do it anyway. So I think you helped push her to that point. So thanks to you, I got the October bundle for Vinegar Syndrome, and one that you might be interested in, Daisuke, actually. It was put out by Fun City Editions, but it's different. It's not like a. It stars Jenny Aguilar, and it's called I Start Counting, and it's directed by Daniel Green, who's like a famous director over in England. He's done like a lot of stuff and some really interesting stuff as well over the years, and a lot of TV stuff too, uh, over in in America. But definitely like check it out. Like at least check out like the go to the page and check out the partner label, and it's called I Start Counting, and it's very different. So you got like Jen Agler. I think she's supposed to be 14 at the time. I'm not sure if she is or not, but we're pretty much she's in a small town, and she kind of like starts to get a crush on this guy, and he may or may not be a serial killer that's killing like teen girls in the area, and that really intrigued me. So I had to grab that one. And Daisuke, you do amazing live stream, so yeah, I will try to be there for them. I'm pretty bad at getting there for stuff because usually I'm streaming or I'm watching a film for my channel or I'm working over 40 hours a week. So that's been the killer part. So I apologize, Daisuke, for taking so long to get the video done with you. but hopefully we'll get to do another one in the near future because I really 100% enjoyed it. The next film, Sudden Fury, a exploitation one that utterly blew me away. This was not at all what I thought it was going to be when I saw it. Thank you. I actually really appreciate that. If I can live up to the level of the Vanessa interview, I can, because that was a definitely a gold interview. Then I'm definitely I'm so honored. But the thing is that interview is good because you're really good, and I told you this before. You're really good doing the interviews. You gotta have. It's like something you gotta have. It's a gift thing. You can learn, you can study, and you can do okay. You can like I went to school for journalism. That's what I did. Um, so when I see it, I can definitely appreciate it. It's a different one, Scalder, and it's so like just read that like if read the plot. Does that intrigue you the way it intrigues me? Uh, I'm trying to remember. I think I've seen it, but I don't remember if I have. Uh, and it's very different. It's definitely you can tell like it's not like I can't say it was not Vinegar because Vinegar put out some really good stuff, but this seems to be a label that's going for some certain like some different films and some more prestige films. Uh, I want to say in a different way, kind of like prestige films. Vinegar Syndrome puts out a lot of differently prestige films in different types, but it just seems to be like it's a marketplace that I'm glad they're going in. Is the best way to say it. They put it Alphabet City, which was kind of like an '80s one with Vincent Spano, and I haven't got that one yet. I'm actually very curious about that one. If anybody here has got it, can you let me know what your thoughts on it was? And but I'm very very intrigued by Stark County. This one is really fun. It is a film. It's basically a simple film. A couple that really aren't working out anymore are go out and like for a drive, and basically they think it's just a regular drive that his wife does, but he and her they just really aren't connecting. And at the beginning of the film, she seems very abrasive. You're not quite sure why. Uh, you just really don't like her at the beginning of the film, and he brings her out to this place, and he like pitches like a business proposal. So she's rich apparently, and kind of he's been kind of like living off the money type of thing, and he's always doing these proposals that aren't working out. Thank you, triple feature. That's my favorite favorite center title and wasn't that Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man is definitely up there. I love Ice Cream Man. If only for the fact that Ice Cream Man has like as one it has a great cast, two Clint Howard's good in it, and three Jan Michael Vincent is doing his amazing thing of walking through the film. I'm getting a check. It's like one of those. I'm gonna get a check today by making this movie. I'm not gonna do too much in the acting thing, but I'm gonna get a check. Definitely check this one out. It's a thriller where a guy comes along just as a car accident has happened, and he goes to save the wife after the husband has abandoned her, and is actually very glad, hoping that she dies. And it gets really intense. This is a thriller that everybody should check out. Next up is one I haven't seen for years. So I just recently got this one again, and it's Play Dead. It's a really cool one. Basically, it's Satan's dog, and that's kind of what it is. So Yvonne Carlo from the Monsters is in this. She's like, and basically there's this dog that's like satanic dog. He's killing people, but he's not like ripping their throats out. He's not like doing like dog things to kill them. He's killing them in covert ways, like in undog ways, so he's not suspected. I guess it's got a really kind of crazy ending. If I think it does, if it's the one I remember. Hey, Mr. Planks, welcome back, man. Um, have you seen this? I gotta ask you. Play Dead. It has Yvonne Carlo in it from the Munsters. It's a killer dog movie where the killer dog does not do killer dog things. And like he kills people, but not in dog ways. He kills people in clever, satanic dog ways. And who is not going to love a cover like this? It subverts expectations. We'll go with that. It's different. He does, but I can't tell you. Like we can't say who, Ragman. Let's not tell them. But it is kind of like a almost in a supernatural way at that point, though, when you really think about it. Because it's a bit of a crazy ending. You guys know I love my slashers, and ones that kind of like that are different, that kind of gets lost in the cracks. Party Line. So Leaf Garrett, who was like a teen idol back in the day, is did this movie here, Party Line, and it is actually really really fun. Uh, the VHS case of it looked like this. This was a cover that most people saw. So they expected, I think, a little bit different from than what they got. So, but basically, what it is Leaf Garrett and who's the other girl? Uh, I know Sean Weatherly's in this. Is she the? I think she's the sister. So basically, Leaf Garrett and I think Sean Weatherly is the sister, and they have this almost not quite, but almost seems like kind of incestuous type of relationship. But what they are is they're a pair of serial killers. They're a brother and sister serial killer team. That's not giving anything away. That's told right from the beginning of the film, and it's really neat to see the way that neat. It's neat to see the way that it's done and the way that it plays out. I really enjoyed this film, and I'd seen it years ago, and this is one that I'd only seen like once, and I knew that I wanted to pick it up. And during a live stream during super chat here, I don't think she's here tonight, but Mary Sullivan and a bunch of you guys helped me out and helped me get that film and a couple others actually as well. Yeah, there was actually at a time there was a lot of those telephone based horror films, uh, like Natural Born Killers relationship with siblings, kind of. Like basically, like he is more of the like he's definitely the more of the like they're both psychotic, but you haven't seen Plated, you gotta check it out, Jamie. Uh, but she's more stronger. She seems to be stronger. Uh, in that basically she's along she's the one that like she's always like deriding him and kind of like calling him down and saying like he couldn't do anything without her, and it's just differently done, and he's definitely more attached to her in a certain ways than she is to him. Like you can see her like leaving at any minute, but you for him he's like this, like he needs this. Um, he needs this relationship. Uh, like nobody else is going to understand. Nobody else is going to understand his kills. Uh, Nobody else is going to understand his murder. By the way, speaking of underrated things, and here's one: the corruption of Chris Miller. I can honestly say this I had not seen before I picked it up. I had thought I'd seen it. I had confused it with another film, but this has a really creepy opening. Uh, with have a great night there, Alan. Uh, with basically a guy in a Charlie Chaplin mask and a really creepy Charlie Chaplin mask who kills this lady, and then we meet these this stepmother. How does it's compared to Zoltan? It's very different than Zoltan Hound and Dracula. It's not the same type at all, actually. Um, but I think it's comparable. It's fun. It's a fun film. Those are never like Zoltan Hound and Dracula and Play Dead. They're never like the over the top. They're over the top, but not in like in different ways. If you like Zoltan, you're gonna like Play Dead. But if you like actually really cool movies, this one here, it's a very very different film. Um, it goes in ways that I didn't expect it to go. The killer reveal is really good, and what the killer reveal actually ends up meaning to everything else in the film is brilliant. It is brilliantly done. So whoever hasn't seen this, Corruption of Chris Miller, I strongly recommend you check out this film. My favorite Vincent Lenticular. I don't have it, but maybe Tammy the T Rex. Uh, Murder by Phone. I haven't seen that one in years. But this film here is genius. It is utterly genius. And people, if you have not seen this one, I 110% recommend you check it out. It's got it had a brilliant slipcase, which it no longer has, unfortunately. That's all sold out, but still, definitely worth picking up. All right, here's one for not for the kiddies, uh, and that is Mascara. So Mascara is, I'll put it over there right away, an adult film, but it is a really good one. It has a story, and it is an adult film that definitely is from a guy, Henry Pichard, who's been watching at that point a lot of French cinema, and it shows. In Mascara, it really shows. Folks, your label purchase with certain label each month. That's actually a good way to do it, you know. I would. I know what you mean. Like Emmanuel is definitely one of the type, one of the maybe in a way, because it does have like the kind of the art feel to it. Now this is when I say an adult film, this one is not soft core. This one does get into like really adult, like it is an X-rated film, but it was done at a time when films like that had to have stories, because in a lot of cases, that couldn't play at a regular theater. So what they would do was they would do the film with a strong story, and they could take the film and cut it down so that you could do like pretty much an R-rated cut of the film, and you could put it into regular theater. So you could put it on video in like both in your adult section and in your regular section. Um, and it would be a little bit hard to do with Mascara because basically Deleu was actually, yeah, definitely a decent actress, extremely likable. Lisa Deleu is incredible in the film. Basically, she's a girl that's come to this point where nothing affects her. She doesn't know why, but she's dating, and nothing's working out. She feels like aimless. Uh, she meets up with this girl that goes into her boss's office. Like, turns out to be, an adult worker, a sex worker. Uh, but she and she says, can I come along with you? And she says, what do you mean? Can I come along with you? I do have an erotic collection as well. I do tend, Andrew, to stick towards like stuff that is story based, not like the newer, not but like things that are more story based, like the Manuel types or the Mascara types, uh, because honestly, if you're gonna if at my age, if I'm watching a film like that, I want a film. I want something that's going to have like going to have a good story to it, or a good cinematography, or it's going to challenge me a bit, and I take it as a personal challenge, as a film, like collector, as a connoisseur, to go out and find the best of like not like the of every genre, whether it be like a B grade or Z grade, just to find what like to learn what I can from each of the films that I watch. Oh, Party Monster is definitely supposed to be. Well, Party Monster is a true story, Kubrick. Um, that is shockingly, it's a true story, and he does a really good job in that one. Unmasked Part 25. This I love. Um, if you Thank you, Flip. I really appreciate that. Uh, you're awesome too. Uh, this is so fun. This is so good, and it's so unexpected. You see the mask, and you think, well, Friday the 13th, right? And kind of, there is a definitely a vicious serial killer in this film, and this is him. There's no hiding the fact, but he falls in love, and he falls in love with the blind girl, much in the way. that you'll see in like in a Frankenstein film. But what else is this guy? Well, he has an English accent because this is an English film. He speaks, unlike Jason. Uh, and he spouts poetry in Shakespeare. Gregory Cox plays the role of Jackson, and he does a brilliant, brilliant job. Fiona Evans plays his girlfriend. Honestly, 100% guys, if you have not seen this movie, I do recommend it. It is a great little film. It is not at all what you think it's going to be. It has a tragic ending. Did I like Jason X? It's fun. I mean, Jason X. A lot of people don't like it because it's like it's different. And it's departure from the Jason films. This is not like a Friday 13th type film, by the way. This is more of like a horror comedy. Um, but but I think in a way, Jason X kind of like bridged a gap between like horror fans and sci-fi fans that would never give Friday 13th the time of day, and it became one of their favorites. It was constantly played on some of the sci-fi channels. Yeah, and it was just a placeholder film. That's what it was meant to be. So they didn't mean to really put a lot of like work into it because they get to Freddy versus Jason basically. But Jason X, in my opinion, this is just me. I thought it was a better film than Freddy versus Jason. I actually enjoyed it more. But all right. Next up is Berserker. This is a great little film. I love this one here. It's got that reminds me of Pink Floyd. Oh, the liquid nitrogen kill is amazing. That's one of my favorite kills in the whole series, the whole Friday 13th series. I'm looking forward to the new Friday 13th box set. I know you are, Jamie, and you know I am. So this one here has like it has Beth Toussaint, and I love Beth Toussaint. You like this one, CK? This is really good. But the big thing for me is I am a huge, huge fan of George Buckflowers, and he does like a lot of roles. He's been in everything. He usually plays like a drunk or a bum or like kind of like this. Like I think in Back to the Future, he's the guy. He's the bum on the bench in Back to the Future. I'm pretty sure he is actually kind of like sleeping it off type of thing. So he's in this. He has a really good role in this here. Berserker's a really fun film, very underrated. Uh, and you're not like you're left for a long time to try to figure out is it like is it a killer? Is it just a regular killer? Is it a bear? Is it the spirit of a Viking berserker? You're well, you got to wait to find out. Uh, and it is cool. It is really really cool. It is well done. Exactly like that. Some of the movies that George Buck Flowers has been in would the Lake Liquid Kill be like the one in T2? Actually, no. This one here, basically, I'm guessing you haven't seen Kubrick then Jason X. There's a really cool sequence in the film where near the beginning of it, you got to get right. Let me know what you think of it, Jam, when you see it. Uh, it's actually a fun one. It's got a weird ending. I like the ending, but he shoves her in like the liquid nitrogen, like face first, and then he smashes her face on the desk there. Brilliant, just brilliant. All right, next up is the Muck Train, otherwise known as Beyond the Door 3, or also famously known the one with the embossed. Uh huh. So again, a fun little film. I enjoyed. I actually didn't enjoy it the first time I saw it. I thought it was okay. Second time I watched it, I liked it more. Yeah, he wasn't They Live. He actually had a big part in They Live. Bo Svensson is in this one, who I love. So Bo Svensson just does really good in this one here. I'm gonna get through these here. Then we'll start on this stuff here. I have so many to do. I'm trying to do this and try not to make this too long. Spookies. If you don't have Spookies, this is one to get from Vinegar Syndrome. So Spookies is incredibly insane. It was a film that it was a mess behind the scenes. Uh, they brought in another director to direct Spookies, Hey there, Jacob, which made it like a very, very confusing at some points. And there's actually, so there were special effects that were supposed to be put in this film. I love the Vipco documentary. I love both documentaries actually on this one because when you're watching, I'm actually going to watch the Vipco one again. So I'll bring it upstairs. Um, Buck Flowers plays against type and as a mobster, masker mafia style. I got to check that out. Okay, another one of the adult titles. So I'll go through those quickly. Justine, actually a really good one. I actually enjoyed that. Very different. Let me put these over because I want to get space. I have all my vinegar syndrome numerically done, so I'm trying to keep them in like in that order. All right. Hey, Jared. So next up is Zombie Island Massacre. This is one initially that I passed up on. This was a gift actually. Um, Remember? So this this is so fun. Um, if you expect this movie to be a zombie on a massacre, you might be a bit disappointed. If you expect this to be like a fun kind of who done it murder slasher type of film, well, congratulations, you got it. So for those that collect slasher movies, that's what this is. For those that are expecting a zombie film, that's what this is not. Not at all. There is no zombie on the massacre in this one. There's people killed. It's kind of a massacre, but there ain't no zombies doing it. Spoiler alert. You gotta watch it to find out. I actually really did enjoy this film. You got your camera set. Excellent, Jacob. Super cool. You've never seen it? It's cool. I mean, I think was this a Trauma release or like did Trauma produce it? Uh, what's really neat about it, Jamie, and I think you'll appreciate this, is the score for this film is actually done by Harry Manfredini, who did the score, of course, for Friday the 13th. You can tell uh, Manfredini is not going too far off of his Friday the 13th score roots when with the Zombie Island Massacre one. It is very, from like the opening score of this film, this is Harry Manfredini's score, and you're like, how the hell did they get Harry Manfredini? Yeah, there's no mistaking that guy's sound. Uh, I think they just acquired it when it came to that one. But it's actually a decent film. Okay, so again, the adult stuff I don't really talk about too much. It's just but 1001 erotic nights and 1002 erotic nights, Forbidden Tales, which is a fun one. I haven't got to watch it though. Next up is a Canuck exploitation one, which is a bit insane and all kinds of fun. Oh no, definitely not a riff on the Beyond, not at all actually. So just so you know, if you go into Zombie Island Massacre, understand that you're not gonna get zombies or not really supernatural. It's very much a Scooby Doo type of ending with Zombie Island Massacre. Uh, and I actually enjoy it for what it is. And there are a couple surprises in it, but the Harry Manfredini score alone is like worth having it for. Deadline, great exploitation flick. Really enjoy this, and I like these type. It's a bit gory, so if you're not a much of a gorehound, that may take you out of it a bit. Next up is Olivia. This was called Prazi in the UK. It is done by Uli Lummel, starring Susanna Love. This is the cover that most people remember on this one right here. Now there is a there's a UK edition of this one that came out from 88 Films, and I'll let you know where like actually really soon. Um, there's a cover there. It's a very misleading cover. Um, did I get the new Gates of Hell trilogy? I didn't actually. I got the Arrow edition of it. There's a new one that came out, but I didn't pick it up. I wasn't sure if the new Gates of Hell like one would be like how if like which version, which cut it is of the film. So I've waited on it for now, but if you get it, let me know because I'm kind of curious to know if it's like if it's a good one or if anybody has it here, you can let them know because I don't have it yet. That's a good thing about having like so many people in the room at one time. If I don't have it, one of these guys here are sure to have it. But this one intrigued me. This one I loved. Uh, because I like Uli Lomo stuff, and he did like insane stuff like Boogeyman stuff like that. But there's something about that one I just really liked. Well, Christmas Evil, like see, I spoke to Lloyd in Montreal a few years back, and the thing is like with trauma, will they'll make films, and like back in the day, like in the VHS days, especially when or in the early days, what they would do is they would make films, and they would take the movie that the money that they made from the films, and they would like put some aside to make another low budget film, but they take a lot of the money that they made and they'd invest in buying like the rights and the licensing for other films as well. Another Manfredini, actually, yeah, children. So we're on a Manfredini night here. So that's like Lloyd's actually a really good businessman and a really sweet guy. Actually, he talked to my better half for a while. Like he talked politics and stuff like that. Dolly Dearest, I'm glad I got it. It's a it's a really kind of cool, fun one. But everybody's not gonna love this. But I like Killer Doll movies. So and it's got Denise Crosby from that. So I gotta have it. The new version. Ah, there you go. Someone's already got it. The new Jason says the new version of Gates Hell is great. So there we go. We have actually somebody. Your friend was the Toxic Avenger 4 and Terra Firma. Did your friend ever go around with the like with the traumas guys? Because I talked to a guy that was in actually in what's the name of it? The chicken one. What's the chicken one called? I got it here. Poultrygeist. Poultrygeist. Yeah. One of the actors of Poultrygeist. I met it too. He was at like the trauma thing. Yeah, it's a fun film. Pale Blood. This is one that Vanessa. I hope Vanessa is like actually likes it because it is a gorgeous cover, for sure. And look at that. Well, I got to say one of the nice thing about getting to meet Lloyd was that he actually was a nice guy. So often when you get to meet like the guys that are big gear up, definitely the best cover so far. um, it actually stars the guy from West Side Story in this one here. So if you like West Side Story, uh, George Harris is in this one. Diane Frank, Darcy DeMoss is in this one as well. She has a part in here. But and Wings Hauser kind of steals it, like he does with everything that he's in. You want them to put out which one? Thomas Girl Screamers, Blades, and Blades is so bad, but I would love to see it come out. Like there's no like when it comes to trauma, like nobody even like we know when you're a trauma fan, you know what you're getting. Nobody's expecting. Well, I guess they're putting out some really quality stuff. Uh, but yeah, they're putting out trauma stuff, and you either like trauma stuff or you don't like trauma stuff. There's no two ways about it. Blood Games. This, however, this is really freaking good. Uh, everybody own Blood Games. If you don't own this movie, one, look at this cover. Look how sexy this is. Hey there, Brian. Just a disc, and is in it. So just so this podcast is now also, like I mentioned on at the beginning of this, but for anybody new coming in, is also just so this YouTube channel. So more Brian Sauer, and that's always a good thing. And it's neat to see it coming in onto your YouTube channel as opposed to like having you come in as Brian. It was a great first video, man. You sold me on imprint. You really did. I think the worst, not the worst, but like the worst in a good way. When I say bad, I'm not actually uh, like saying bad in a bad way. I'm saying bad as in like, when I say bad, it's often in a good way. Unless I really like stress the movie is boring. Like the worst thing a movie can do is bore me. You don't bore me with a film. But if a movie keeps my attention, that's a movie that I think is definitely worth it. The worst thing you can do is thing you can do with anything with your audience is bore them. But Blood Games is incredible. You gotta watch it, man. Uh, because it is so cool. You will like Blood Games. The girl that did Blood Games became like a really famous stunt, as we talked on Just the Disc about it. Uh, became a very famous stunt woman. I wouldn't say it's boring. I would say that it may not always work for me at times. Um, because I'm gonna hold you there, Brian. No, uh, but uh, but that but everybody has their own thing, and a movie that I might utterly adore, and you should know this. Other people might say, "Why the hell does he like that?" And I guess because I do. I have no reason as higher than I just love that film. So everybody's got things that other people are gonna like or not like. So Red Harvest, Crypt of the Living Dead Girls, and House of the Living Dead. It's two for one. This one is out of print actually, and it is one of the ones at the time when they had a streaming service called Exploitation TV. Oh, Blood Harvest, you mean? Blood Harvest. Yeah, you don't like Blood Harvest, but I think it's that Blood Harvest is an amazing like indictment on on the loss of an industry and how like economic hardships can affect the town and the people that are in it. And you see it as like Tiny Tim and a slash. So we have very different things with that. Yeah, that's the thing. My better half really liked Van Helsing 2004 as well. So this one is still out on DVD to get. So check that out. I have to watch Blades again. You know what? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. You see, I have you just because I don't have the slip doesn't mean I don't have it. Because I was lucky enough that my good friend Brian right here from Just the Discs was able to get me some of like the Vinegar Syndrome titles when I could not afford to get them actually, and he passed some on to me, and thank you Brian for that because that at a time when things were really rough, that helped out tremendously, and we were able to like do some podcasts with it too. So that was incredible. So Christmas. So Massage Parlor Murders. This is not going to be for everyone. It is pretty chintzy acting. It is pretty cheesy, but it has some great sequences on 42nd Street, New York, and that in itself, if you've ever been to New York or if you ever wanted to have that feel of like 70s New York, you're definitely going to get that in this film. I wish. I mean, I've been doing stuff, Jamie, with for like mentioned Vinegar Syndrome since like I for a few years now. A lot of people mention Vinegar Syndrome now, but I mentioned them before it was cool to mention Vinegar Syndrome. But I don't know if they've noticed me. But let's one of these days, hopefully. Even if I could get a T-shirt, I would. I would love a yearly subscription. That would be amazing. But but it's probably not going to happen. I wish. But that's it, guys. Tweet out, you know, Vinegar syndrome, like notice Aaron. That's, I don't even know what to say. Think of a clever tweet. Uh, Night Train to Terror was my very first Vinegar Syndrome release that I ever picked up. At the time that I picked this up, and this was like, what number was it? 17 in the Vinegar Syndrome library. See, Brian's really good at posting my stuff. If you want to post my videos in Facebook group, like in a Vinegar Syndrome Facebook group, definitely that. Like I never really think about that. Uh, Feel free. Uh, why does Vinegar Syndrome always remind me of something to do with scarecrows? Not quite sure actually. So this, I don't have one to slip. The slip's actually kind of cool. Um, this is really different. It's an anthology film that's made up of three other films. Three films that were kind of, I can't say unfinished because these movies actually, some of these films were finished, but these movies are cut down and put into like truncated versions of themselves and made into an anthology film that has a earworm of a song that once you hear it, it will stick in your head for days. Uh, and just by picking this up, automatically everybody's got something to do. Everybody but you. Come on and dance with me, dance with me. It's in my head already. And if you've ever seen this movie, it'll be in your head too. Um, yeah, they originally had these blue cases before this. Do I have time to watch TV shows? I do actually. You'd be surprised. I work like a regular 40-hour job. I do my YouTube channel. I work on other channels and podcasts and stuff. And still, I don't get a lot of sleep, but I get the other stuff as well. But it can be hard. Amy's right. It can be hard finding trouble for TV. But this is really fun. What's really neat and unique about this one here, and if you've never picked it up, is that this has Greta's a second story on here, and Greta, the full film is on here, and the actress that plays Greta in there. Oh my God! Don't tell me I get these mixed up. Okay, there we go. The actress that plays Greta is so likable and so unique. Ah, so that kind of hurt. Luckily, I'm going to say luckily because this, by the way, guys, is a brand new iPad. Hold on a sec. Maybe this video's going to end now. So let me just see if I can get this done right. There's one thing that I'm saying right now. Thank you, Otterbox. Because I had issues with iPads before and dropping and losing them, stuff like that, and breaking. This When I got one this time, I bought an OtterBox, and it literally landed. By the way, this iPad literally landed right on my feet, on my toes. And thanks. And I was my heart was dropping because I just got this as like 2 days ago, and I got this iPad specifically for this channel, like for doing stuff on the channel. But I keep it in an outer box all the time, and I will swear by the outer box, especially right now. Hold on. Oh yeah, like after the last time, I'm like I'm always gonna have an outer box. It's on a tripod, yes. Outer boxes are really thick too, so you got to be really careful with this. So I got to be very careful with this one here. Um, but my my toes are killing me right now. All right, sugar cookies, Lynn Lowry and Mary Warnoff. Uh, that should be enough. I should not have to say anything else after that. This stars Lynn Lowry and Mary Warnoff. I haven't gotten to go to the archive store. I've seen like videos on YouTube about the archive store, Robert. But unfortunately, I live in Canada, and no, obviously there's no like traveling now. Yes, exactly. That's one. But you're actually right, Michael. It broke the fall. Another Trump acquisition. It's actually a really cool film. Very different. Lynn Laurie plays two roles in it. One she plays very briefly, but there's two roles. Next up is the one you guys asked me about. Did I have it? Yes, I do. It is Raw Force, and I love this cover. It is insanely good. And the neat thing about the cover is, as insane, as busy, and as crazy as this cover is, it suits the film. Because we got here. What's their name? The Burbank Kung Fu Club. Um, there are zombies. It's a nutty, insane, crazy film. There are cannibals in the film. So it's like they decided, you know what? Let's take. A little nervous about that right there now. Good morning. Good morning from Canada. Nightmare Weekend. Another crazy, insane film. And look at this cover. Look how good, gorgeous this cover is. This is an insanely good cover. What would you think this movie's about by looking at it? Maybe an erotic film? Maybe about like ghostly possession? It kind of has that look, kind of has that feel to it, right? Would you say that this movie, you know, has Dale Metcalf, of course, who's in Pet Cemetery? Would you think it's about, well, a puppet uh, that's, that works with a computer, and silver crystal silver balls that like uh, kind of like attack people? Not in the phantasm type of way, but like they turn into other things. Um, or a roller. It's a really weird film. It's so weird. There's a sequence where there's this chauffeur, and he's like he's drinking. He's a hard drinker. He's drinking all the time. Um, and so one way to hide his drinking, by the way, is he gets a sandwich, right? And he's got a kind of got like a flask in between two slices of bread, and he's drinking. That's a thing that happens in this movie. And that, by the way, one of the least weird things that happens in this movie. It is so weird, you'll love it. Demon Eyed is an Alfred Zacharias film. It's one I haven't seen in a long time, so I really can't give you like any really good good references to that film. And so I'm gonna pass on that one right now. Same with this one here. I do not remember this one very well. Is it Lynch weird? In a different way. Like Lynch weird, like even when Lynch is weird, you kind of know where that he's going somewhere with it. You don't really know where they're going with it with Nightmare Weekend. It is really, really like Videodrome is correct. It is truly bizarre. It is a bizarre film. Demonized Bonkers. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I will give it a watch again. I haven't seen it since like I first got it. My feet are fucking hurting. Sorry. Um, huh. You should have been a ways back. Okay, this is Ted V. Michael's double feature, The Doll Squad and Mission Kill Fast. I kind of like both of these films because it's like Charlie's Angels with nudity. as is most of Andy Sedaris' films. All right. So, Luther the Geek, again, this is one that I adored. A lot of people really hate this film. Uh, what I love about it is, well, aside from the fact that Stacey Haddock is really cute and she's in this film, um, the guy that plays the geek character who plays Luther, he uh, he really commits to playing the role, um, and I really appreciate and really respect that. Like that he commits so hard to playing the role that he does, and does just an amazing job. So Luther the Geek, if you haven't checked it out, definitely want to check out. I like the new Charlie Daniels movie actually. A lot of people didn't like it, but I actually really liked it. Okay, another one of the adult ones, uh, done by Alex Durense. Was shot not too far from me. That's actually kind of cool. I would Near me, it's My Bloody Valentine. Jamie knows that actually. Um, but Thank you, reality. Would I say I have 4,000? Uh, Definitely over 4,000. This is one room. I have like a TV room, and I got like movies upstairs as well. Uh, but it's different. It's unique anyway. I'd have to count. I got to count them one of these days. I think I stopped counting at around 5,000. But I've taken things out and put things into my collection since then. So it'll be different to figure it out. It'd be kind of difficult right now to figure it out. But I'm working on scanning all my movies in so that I'll know. You hate a Pet Cemetery? I can get that the animal stuff. But I like Pet Cemetery. It was one of those movies that it freaked me out and it freaked Stephen King out when he did as well. So you're in the right. So Pretty Peaches, Alex Lorenzi. It's an adult triple feature, like it's a trilogy. It's very artsy, and the first one is actually very comedic. And I think one of them actually has the great Jamie Gillis, who was probably one of the great adult actors ever. The Bees. This is also done by Alfredo of Zacharias. It's got the two great Johns, John Saxon and John Carradine. Movie collector software that I use. Oh, God, what is it? I do. I got it on my iPad, but you can scan. You can write in the numbers or the name. You can scan it in by the barcode. I can't remember what it's called now though. But this one is for movies. There's one for video games as well. CLZ. I'm not sure. That might be it. Actually, I'll check. But the Bees is fun. John Saxon, John Carradine, and of course Angel Tompkins is in this as well. So next up is Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore. The Bees is fun actually. It's a fun film. It's an ecological like horror film, and it's kind of silly in certain ways, but it's extremely well done, and I love the film. Dolomite, one of the great black exploitation comedies of all time. Another adult film because they have some of these. Trashy Lady. It stars Ginger Lynn, who is one of the most beautiful of the adult stars that ever came out of it, in my not so humble opinion. Um, and It's got Harry Reams, who's an incredibly adult actor with amazing comedic timing. And it was a shame that he didn't end up doing more than adult cinema because I think he could have went on to did other things. He didn't have like a leading man look or anything like that, but he definitely had this kind of like this timing, and that is innate with him. That works really well. Humor Tornado, because you got to have some more. This is the only actual sequel to Dolomite. There's a lot of other Rudy Ray Moore films, but this is the only Dolomite sequel. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Dolomite though, but it is crazy enough. It's 60% done. It takes a long time, doesn't it, when you scan this stuff? Uh, because I love black exploitation, the great the Candy Tangerine Man, and Lady Coco. You actually Is he really? I'm not surprised from like stories I've heard and stuff like that, but can turn around if you like Lady Coco more. So you can have like Candy Tangerine Man as your cover. You can have Lady Coco as your main cover with the other one in the Hamberland. She did like she was actually did manage to do like a few, like Gingerland got to do a lot more when it came to like the films outside of like the adult industry. But Amberlin did a few as well, mostly horror stuff. Do I like Jim Varney? I haven't watched a lot of Jim Varney films. I remember liking Ernest Scared Stupid back in the day. But I used to get turned out by those commercials all the time. Those Hey Vern commercials used to drive me up the wall. So this is Petey Wheatstraw. This is a very different film for Rudy Ray Moore in that he plays like the son-in-law of the devil, and he's got this magic kind of pimp cane. I'm not joking. That's the thing. It's in the film. And last but not least for Rudy Ray Moore is Disco Godfather. Rudy Ray Moore decided he wanted to do a film that had a message, and Disco Godfather is that film. So if you don't learn anything else, learn that Rudy Ray Moore says PCP is bad for you, and you shouldn't do it. So says the Disco Godfather. We're quickly getting this done. I apologize, it's taking so long. The way I see it, if I put this stuff back as I'm doing it, uh, I'll get to bed before like 3 a.m. The more you have, the longer it takes. True enough. I shouldn't complain, right? All right, a classic. Nightmare Sisters, Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, Brink Stevens, uh, and of course the great Dookie Flyswatter. What better name can you have for in a movie like that? Have I seen Taboo 4? Yes, I've seen all the Taboo films. There's like, oh God, 13, or there's more than 13. But the original four, are like the ones that you want, that you want to get. The theater ones. Actually, it's really good. It's definitely it brings the story to kind of a natural conclusion, and I like that. And I do think that's something that's important. I don't own it yet, actually. It's one that I do want to get in my collection because I do think it is well done, and Jamie Gillis does a great job in it. Yeah. I was actually you should be glad it's kind of mostly fake because if not, that makes a disturbing thing there. What time is it here? Oh my god, this it is getting later. Taboo. Remember you mentioned you just mentioned Taboo 4. Well, this is Taboo. That's the original. It's a classic. Um, with 4 commentaries. Somebody's going out. Have a great night, Ryan. Thank you for staying in for so long. I appreciate it, man. Uh, I can understand you going out. I'm at 180 minutes. I'm really trying to get through this. That's okay. Evils of the Night. If you haven't seen this one, this is really good. So if you got the other one, like Evil Town, you're going to need Evils of the Night. And notice, yes, that is the Millennium Falcon. Uh, it's a fun film. Count Dracula's Great Love is a Paul Naschy flick. It's the only one where Paul Naschy actually played Dracula. He does a good job, actually. He's kind of a short Dracula, kind of a stocky Dracula. But it's a typical Paul Naschy. Like, all the girls love Paul Naschy in Paul Naschy films. Um, Evils of the Night, yeah, it's the name of the film. And there's a movie called Evil Town, which was a VSA release. Whorehouse on Highway 5. I absolutely adore this bonkers film. Here's another bonkers one for you. And this was like a limited edition that they did. They did both Richard Casey films. Did Whorehouse on Highway 5, and they did Hellbent as well. Both of these are really fun. Hellbent is more like what's the word? It's more like a linear. It's more straightforward than a Whorehouse on Highway 5. But they're both really fun, crazy films. Uh, Somebody mentioned so unbelievably close to Alone in the Dark. Yes. Yeah, you're right. It does have a Alone in the Dark type feel to it, doesn't it? Except there's no axe, right? Um, Deadly Weapons and Deadly Embrace. This is a Linnea Quigley double feature. And if you're a fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, and you wondered, hey, did the guy that starred in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, did the guy that became famous with the It's Garbage Day line, did he do anything else? Why, yes, he's in the first film right here. He's in Deadly Weapon. So you get to see him in a less crazy role. Yeah, it's him. Definitely, if you got it there, Brian, check it out. Because he's one like basically there's two girls, and I think they got out in the got out of got arrested, or got into asylum, and they invite a bunch of guys over. So when you're seeing like those guys that are there, and guy at the pool, the blonde haired dude, that and he's got a significant part in the film. That's him. That's the guy from Salt and the Day Night too. So working actor, right? No, Hellbent is like it's an older film. It's by Richard Casey. It was actually done back in the 90s, I think, or the 80s. 90s, 88, sorry. So it's a different Hellbent. But there's another one that. Oh, yeah. So a lot of movies have like several titles. This is Hobgoblins right here. Of course, this is another Richard Sloan, the Richard Sloan classic. Uh, and I will use the word classic for it. Taboo 2 and 3, which actually are not bad at all. I like both of those films. Getting some of the insane ones here. Death Machines, meant to look like a science fiction film. Very, very little to do with science fiction in this film. It would be amazing, Jason, if they put up the Linnea Quigley workout tape, because there's one that I would love to see. Actually, I forgot Warlock that Hobgoblins even existed. So, good call on that one. This is one that I told people to get. I hope they picked it up because it's a fun one. It's the Pete Carpenter double feature, Blood Mania and Planet Terror. Uh, the limited part of this one was they had like TV cuts of both of the films as well. If you've seen these films, and you know that Diane Thorne, from Ilsa fame, she actually has a decent part in one of these films. I think it's the first one. Yeah, I think some blood. Is it Blood Mania or Planet Terror? No, it's the Planet Terror. Uh, yeah, because he falls in love. Like they kind of fall in love. The guy Pete Carpenter did a lot of music and stuff as well, so you hear his music in there. I think he plays like a musician uh, in one of the films because they sent to the wrong film. Oh, Death Machines is just fun. It's just a fun action film. Blue Money again is another one of their. I don't think this is an adult film. Is this an adult film? I can't remember. Like I know it's about adult cinema, but I don't know if I've seen it yet. Got them the version. Excellent, Jason. I hope you liked it. Well, I'll be honest, Andre. We don't have to be rich here, but you do have to like watch for sales and stuff like that. But I can imagine how hard it is in Brazil over there, like especially for like shipping things over. That's definitely got to be an issue. Like I'm moving to Morocco, and I know that like unless I'm flying out to London or I'm flying into Canada, then I'm not gonna be getting movies anytime like shipped into Morocco. I just can't do it. So we've thought about like different ways to go about it if I want to see stuff online and that. And one of them is getting like a box in Canada that my kids can like take care of and get my movies there. Or another one is like getting a box over in London and having some stuff sent there, depending on which is the cheapest route to go. So that's things you got to think about when you're moving to a new place. Witch Trap, Linnea Quigley, amazing, done by Kevin Tenney. I'm a big Kevin Tenney fan. He does some really great stuff. The Hearse, again, this is really good. This creeped me out when I was a kid. There's a scene in the movie where she's lying down in bed, and the it's like a chauffeur type dude, and he just pushes this like coffin through the door, and that's all I really remember about that scene. but it freaked the crap out of me when I was a kid. It really bothered me. So yeah, the movie that is not at all like its box cover. If anything has a misleading cover, Welcome to Malibu High. It looks like Porky's. It looks like American Pie. It's not. It is a dark film that spirals down. It's about a girl that starts out like just like doing kind of like petty crimes and blackmail and stuff like that, and will eventually become like a hit woman, and it goes like spirals down from there. So definitely one to check out, guys. All right, this was the kind of a not a sequel, not a sequel. It's a reflection, not a sequel to Deep Throat. It's called Throat 12 Years Later, and there was actual like logistical reasons why that couldn't be a sequel, legal reasons. Primeval and the Lurker and Lurkers. I really like this. I'm a huge Roberta Findlay fan. I geek out whenever I watch a Roberta Findlay film. I'm always amazed with the stuff she does, whether she's working, I like directing the film or on mascara when she's like the one doing the cinematography. She's just so talented, and I really think that Roberta Findlay does not get enough credit for what she does. And this is great. Next up is one of the premier uh, Vinegar Syndrome titles. There it does have an X and R rated cut. The R rated cut is the director's preferred cut of the film, and that is A Woman's Torment. It is very much like Repulsion, and when I say it is Repulsion style film, that's what it is. So if you like Primeval is really good actually. I really like Primeval. Uh, if you like Repulsion, you're gonna dig this. I'm trying to be quicker. Pick up a cool film. Also, by the way, known as Pazuzu. Not even joking. Known as Pazuzu. So that's the thing that you now know. Yeah. Have you? Don't you have that one? Right. You think I'm joking? But look at the inside. So you haven't looked at the inside cover. But got in the last sale. That's the thing. When you get them, like it takes a while to watch them. I do have some Tinno Brass, not in the Vinegar Syndrome. They haven't put in any Tinno Brass for Vinegar Syndrome. I'm a huge Tinno Brass fan, though. I have a lot of his work from Arrow and Cult Epics put out a box set that a viewer got me for Christmas one year. Got me the Tinno Brass like 4 film box set, which is really really good. Has Cheeky, which is one of my favorites. Ice Cream Man. I got asked by this one before. And Ice Cream Man is a favorite. I love this movie. And it has such a great cast. I mean, like, seriously, like Clint Howard, Olivia Hussey from Black Christmas, my favorite film. David Naughton is in this one here. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper. Would you like to be a pepper too? Or most people, I guess, know from America or from London. And, of course, the great Jan Michael Benson. Too cool to act. Okay, Fugitive Girls by A.C. Stevens. It's a fun film. I actually really enjoy this one. I love the cover to this one, by the way. It's got a very cracked, mad type of cover to it. This has a Monster Vision version on there. Do I like that? Romeo and Juliet? Yes, I love it actually. I'm not a like acting wise. Romeo and Juliet, one of my least favorite plays that Shakespeare wrote. But like watching it like on screen, I love that version of it. Olivia Hussey is amazingly beautiful and a fantastically talented actress. Star Time. It just creeps me out. Uh, Even the cover of this kind of creeps me out. It's a weird film, but I definitely recommend it. Michael St. Gerard stars in this movie here, and he's probably best known uh, for being in a movie in a TV in a TV miniseries called like Elvis, the early years, and that would actually spin off into a actual TV series about Elvis, basically young Elvis. Do I have time to read books? I, I do actually. I read a bit. I was a writer at one point. I wrote a little. So I gotta love it. I try to read as much as I can. Yeah, Michael St. Gerard wasn't. I forgot about that. So yeah, I guess he's best known for that. The Lenny Quigley Worker tape is on the '80 films Hollywood Chainsmokers, and if you were not going to get it for Hollywood Chainsmokers, you got to get it for that. I don't have the new set yet, so I will eventually get that. The last Cult Epic set that I got was the oh god, what was it called? I got it over there. It's it was so good. God, the name is like it's late, so unfortunately the name is like escaping me right now. But 110% I recommend whatever the name of that set is that I can. The Dutch Sex Wave, such sex film wave collection. Don't think that's exactly what it's about. It's very much like a serious film set, and it's really extremely well done. With like again like I think Bernard Herrmann's score on one of the films. Some script that had like some work from Scorsese on it. So some really incredible stuff, and I definitely recommend you check it out. Blue Vengeance, really fun actually. I actually had a lot of fun with Blue Vengeance. Call Epics does put out some really well done movie sets, and they put out some movies that really kind of fly under a lot of people's radars. And that, with that being said, another thing I got to say, Call Epics, I still think is a company that is flying under a lot of people's radars. They don't get mentioned enough. Uh, like I think that they should get more mention than they do for the stuff that they put out. Teen Witch cast members or some party in the '80s. Teen Witch said, "Oh, Michael St. Harrison, Teen Witch." Okay. See, he's done a lot of stuff, but I still remember. I'll always remember is like Elvis, Bloodhook, the classic one by Jim Milan. Malone. So this is the guy. Of course, he worked in Mystery Science Theater. He was one of the main guys for that. So he directed this film right here, Bloodhook, which if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It's crazy. Wonder Woman. It's pretty much what you expect. It's an action film. Cutting Class. This one took me a while to actually kind of get into. Have a great evening. Thanks for coming over so long, Kubrick. Uh, enjoy the guitar stream. I know that's a big thing for you. So you get in there, man. Don't even think about it. Without giving away who the killer is in this movie, and for anybody that's seen this movie, you can let me know what you think. Who the killer is and who the hero is should have been reversed, in my opinion. I think that the person that's the killer should have been the hero, and the person that's the hero should have been the killer. Like Brad Pitt's good. Like Donovan Letch steals it for me though. Like Joe Sholin's great. Roddy McDowall's cool in it. Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is not a thing where Brad Pitt's like where a movie where like oh look it's Brad Pitt in a background scene or something like that, and they just kind of use his name. No, he's in like I think that it should have went the other way because what have subverted expectations a bit. So I won't say anything else, but that I definitely will say. Bloody New Year, my favorite Norman J. Warren film. It's Norman J. Warren Shining. That's what I'm going to call it. But I had a lot of fun with this film. It was really fun. What other movie could take like ghosts and time travel and just kind of put them all in there together? All right, The Uninvited, Graydon Clark. Actually, I watched Dracula versus Frankenstein the other night with a few nights back with my better half, and Graydon Clark is one of the stars of Dracula versus Frankenstein. Did you notice that, guys, when you're watching it? That the young guy, uh, what's his name? Strange. His name is Strange, I think, in the movie. So that young guy, so the young good-looking guy, Strange. That's with the young good-looking girl. Hey, there, well, good morning, Richard. That's Graydon Clark, the director that would go on to make a bunch of all these movies. So if you're a fan of Graydon Clark's, the star of like he's who he directed that. He stars. He's one of the stars of the movie Dracula versus Frankenstein. And you're not gonna fall off there. Okay. There's nothing out there. One of the best features that you ever put out. Uh, Look at the stuff that's just on this. It's just amazing. It's just incredible. The wealth of stuff that is on this one here. People know that I championed this movie to get a Blu-ray release for years on my channel. I would talk about it all the time. I would I would pimp it out. Rolf Kniski's like, uh, there's nothing out there, and all of a sudden, I was on the channel one night doing a live stream, and it was announced, and I was extremely excited. Even like that's even packed even way more than the trauma disc was, and the trauma disc was fairly packed. I actually got it over there. I did talk about Injustice. That's the thing, and it's such a fun movie. It's one that I love. Um, and I can watch it anytime. It's meta before meta was really a meta thing, a thing, meta thing. Another one I talked about on Justice is this one right here, Splatter University. Uh, Brian didn't like this as much as I did, but I utterly adored this film. I thought it was weird, and it had kind of like uh, they had to come back and film sequences of the film much later. So it has two tones to it. It has kind of like almost like a comedic tone, and it has like a more serious slasher tone. It has a very dark ending. If you've ever seen the movie The Dorm That Dripped Blood, otherwise known as Pranks, then you're going to kind of get that same feel to it because it has that very dark ending. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Elizabeth Caton. She is not in the film, but that is her modeling on the cover. So you got to kind of love that as well. Wacko. This is one we talked about in Just This. Brian liked this one better than I did, but he won me over, and I watched it again, and I kind of dug it more afterwards. A very fun one, which makes me I'm coming around, which makes me think I gotta give Pandemonium a chance when I can, because it's got such a sexy slipcover, doesn't it? And I do like Tommy Smothers. I did grow up like watching the Smothers Brothers, like through the reunion show that came out. So we'll see if Pandemonium is as good as Wacko. Here's one that I got. I haven't gotten to a chance to rewatch this one yet. So it's the Mutant War Battle of the Lost Planets. So I really don't have a lot to say about that one. Uh, it's better than Wacko. Okay then, I'm already on board. One of my favorites that a lot of people don't talk about for Vinegar Syndrome is a movie called Dominique. Now I remember this movie from when I was a kid, um, and they would like show like trailers for it on like other tapes all the time, and the trailer was like so memorable. It was like, Dominique is dead, or is she? I remember, and it stuck with me. You do need to watch that. This is actually a fun one. It's Southern Gothic. The stars Cliff Robertson, Gene Simmons, Jenny Agutter in this one as well. I'm a huge Jenny Agutter fan. Simon Ward, Judy Geeson. What an amazing cast! Like that is an incredible cast. It could be the longest live stream ever. Thank you for staying, by the way, George. I really appreciate that. And by the way, when you do the channel, make sure you let me know. In the Cold of the Night, I love me Nico Mastorakis. Anytime I can get Nico Mastorakis, love his films. This is really cool. We got Brian Jones in this one here. Shannon Tweed, who was a fellow Newfoundlander, because us Newfoundlanders are super sexy. That's why, right? Shannon Tweed is excellent. She's not the star of it, unfortunately. But Adrian Sachs is good too. Tippi Hedren's in this film. Mark Singer from from many films, and of course from the series V, which you talked about. The Suckling, uh, different and unique and weird and fun, and Michael Gingold from Fangoria was in the suit at some point for The Suckling, so there's a cool one as well. Fleshpot on 42nd Street. It's an adult one, but it's very low on the adult aspect of it and very high on the storyline and character study of the film. An amazing film. Thank you. So Brian also agrees with me. It's so well done. If you're writing film and you're writing dialogue, uh, definitely look at Fleshpot on 42nd Street, because as a writer, one thing I truly appreciate in Andy Milligan's Fleshpot on 42nd Street, and not every Andy Milligan thing is going to be a leap out at you, got to grab kind of way, but this one does. It definitely does, because the characters talking to each other sound like real people talking to each other. They don't sound like, here's your script, here's what you should sound like, and here's what you should say based on what we want, how we want the script to go, or how we think this character should be drawn out. They seem like fully fleshed out characters, which is awesome for Fleshpot on 42nd Street. The Grandmother's House. This is one that I recommended Brian. I thought this was awesome. I think he did too, actually, afterwards. A really fun one. A kind of reminiscent of a movie that came out later on called The Visit. But this is way, way before that. Um, and I super enjoyed this film. So if you like that type of stuff, you like The Visit, you're going to like that. Skinflix is brilliant. It's an adult film. It's by Damiano. I'll bring Zorba right back. Damiano is just on another level when it comes to doing like adult cinema. There's just like there's regular, and then there's like the normal, and then there's Damiano. And Damiano is amazing. He made one called Let My Puppets Come with puppets. And because with Damiano, it's always about like moving the medium forward. He was never with staying in one place. His his idea for adult cinema was to make it more mainstream. Kid on Grandma's House was on a Bigfoot movie, really? I'm gonna make it, guys. I'm gonna make it. I promise the full complete collection. I will 100% do that. Satan Slaves, Norman J. Warren. It's okay. I like it. Yeah, not my favorite by Norman J. Warren. Like which was on shelf. Like see me struggle. Mountaintop Motel Massacre. It's a fun one. Uh, I enjoy it. Like Don Dohler's Night Beast is brilliant. I love Night Beast. So this I love Don Dohler. My favorite Don Dohler film is Fiend. That's my favorite by him. So if you haven't seen The Fiend, it was put out by Massacre Video, I think, and it's really cool. It's really fun. Thank you, George. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So that's the important part. Lust into Dust. I like Tab Hunter. I love seeing like Divine in films. Lady Kazane's in this, and I love Lady Kazane. So just a super cool film. People expect John Waters, but this is directed by Paul Bartel. Great cast. Look, we got like Jeffrey Lewis, Henry Silva, Cesar Romero's in this film. Devane. Did I say Devane? That's Divine. Okay, my God, it is late. When your coach edited this film, well, he did a good job. Tell me, he did a good job, because damn straight. And last of the normal ones before we get into the VSAs is the Candy Snatchers, and if you haven't seen it, please see this movie. It deserves more eyes on it. I love this film. Utterly love this film. All right, let's do the VSAs next. Yeah, a lot of them had two different, like the inserts type thing. So I would do these in the order that they come in. I'm not going to take the posters or anything like that now. But there is Death Feud, otherwise known as Savage Harbor. Do you like avocados? Number two, instead of print, is Evil Town. Every one of these has a gigantic poster in it, by the way, double sided, so you get both artworks. Next up, number three is Voice Academy with Linnea Quigley and Ginger Lynn. Then there's Savage Dawn. Hellriders, which has Adam West and Ginger from Gilligan's Island. The very first Patreon exclusive video deal with my better half, we reviewed this movie right here, Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death. It's definitely unique. And one of my very all-time favorite is LA Wars. I actually loved this VSA. I don't have the last two VSAs. There's one that came out recently with Adam Ant, and there's one that I got pre-ordered, which is, of course, Necromancer with Elizabeth Caton, because if it has Elizabeth Caton in it, I gotta own it. I gotta own anything with Elizabeth Caton in it. So I likes me some Elizabeth Caton. All right. Quickly going through these now. 5 Films, 5 Years, Volume 1. And there are 5. This is the Golden Age Erotica one. This is a really, really good one. Too Naughty to Say No, Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls. It's directed by Bob Chin. Suze Randall directed Not Too Naughty to Say No. She was also a famous photographer as well. Ribald Tales of Canterbury. Prisoner of Paradise. That was actually really good, Bob Chin. And Dixie Ray, Hollywood Stars, amazing, with Anthony Spinelli, starring Lisa DeLue, of course, who I told you before is incredible. Next up is their horror and exploitation one. What percentage of this Vinegar Syndrome collection would I guess is out of print? A few, actually. Some of them are just like the like slip covers that are out of print, but there's other things like Disconnected and like a lot of these here that are out of print. I wouldn't know what percentage is, because I really just focus on the film. A lot of the times I don't find out anything's out of print unless you guys tell me. But this is the second volume. There is Cry Wilderness, which of course was on it was on a Mystery Science Theater on the reboot. The Vampire Hookers, which is a really fun Ciro Santiago film. Evil Come, Evil Go. The Cutthroats. I really love Cutthroats. It's John Hayes, and I love John Hayes directing. And it's Teenage Seductress, which has Sandra Curry in it. So definitely down with that. Third one is the second Golden Age Erotic one, which has Dracula Sucks, which is actually really good. Annette Haven and Jamie Gillis. By the way, Jamie Gillis as Dracula. Sika's in this one, Kay Parker. Corporate Assets. That's more of a straightforward, like, adult one. I wasn't as big on that one. The Vixens of Kung Fu. It's kind of funny. Tropic of Desire is actually really well done. Really well done. And it's brutal. There's a sequence of Tropic of Desire that, and I can actually mention this, is that, and it's a bit of a spoiler though, but it's set like this guy goes to see he's like in the war, and he goes to see his basically his lover, that they're getting to the point where they're going to want to marry, and he's really starting to, he's starting to fall in love. He's going to come back, and as he leaves, an attack happens, and it's an attack on Pearl Harbor, and he's there, and she gets killed. It's a very different film. So, and of course, Baby Rosemary, which is kind of like the artsy kind of indie type one. And last but not least is the horror exploitation, the second volume of that they did. It has The Mothers, which is Ciro Santiago, so you know it's good. Flesh and Bullets, Hang Up, which is of course John Hayes. Dungeon of Harrow, and Murder on the Emerald Seas, which stars which is directed by Alan Ormsby, who is best known for probably, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things and being fired off the set of Popcorn, which he was originally supposed to direct. Okay. In the order that they came out, let's do these. Vinegar Syndrome has put out 3 box sets. I have all 3. This is the Amityville Curse collection. There are 4 movies. They are basically based on a book called, basically The Cursed. And Amityville series, because there's a whole book on cursed ones. Thank you, Brian. I love the way this is done. This reminds me so much of Tales from the Dark Side, which I have to take upstairs tonight because I'm going to start watching it for the 31 Days Horror. So this is Amityville Horror: The Evil Escapes. This is the only TV movie in the collection. I forgot about the range actually, so thank you for bringing that up. And actually, you know what? As a TV movie, this surprisingly is really good. Actually, I'm super surprised this hasn't sold out because this is an amazing set. Amityville, It's About Time. I really love this one as well. Actually, I like all these. Amityville, A New Generation. That's the mirror one. And one of my favorites, Amityville Dollhouse. One, I love the cover. Two, it's got Zombie Dad. I love Zombie Dad. Who doesn't love a good Zombie Dad, right? Bear the Ghost Dad. Yeah, definitely, especially now. So next up is the Angel Collection. And that's Donna Wilkes right there. And we have Betsy Russell here. And I'm going to forget her name. And I apologize. No, Mitzi Capture, I think her name is. Mitzi Capture. Right there in the third one. So, Angel series is really good, but they're very, very different films. The first Angel is a drama and a thriller, like a psychological thriller. There's a killer in this one. Really, really cool. If you haven't seen it, you think this is going to be this super sleazy movie. You know what? Angel, as played by Donna Wilkes in this movie, she is never nude in this film. There are other characters that are, but not her. They take the movie very seriously. John Dahl plays the serial killer, and he plays him chillingly. Uh, where we just have a kind of like he doesn't say anything until the end of the film, so we don't really get to get a beat on him that way, and it's really good. Avenging Angel is very very different, very tonally different. Same director, but he goes in a comedic way. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it first. Um, Tell your mom she's awesome. A Girl from Saya, and part three right here is of course Mitzi Capture, who's I guess she's famous for Silk Stockings. That was a big show back in the day. Um, so this has like I think is it right? Yeah, Matt Adams. Yeah, Matt Adams is in this one. Ken Schreiner from General Hospital, and of course guys know I'm a soap opera guy, so I know that's stuff. I really like part three. Part one and part three I thought were really good. Part two I thought was okay. Um, I thought Betsy Russell became a much better actor later on, but it's not really her fault. I think the material kind of fails her a bit too. Last but not least of the box sets is the Forgotten Jelly collection. It's really ironic on the Curse collection. Because, well, actually, there's a reason that Anvil Curse is not in it, Videodrome, because Anvil Curse doesn't have anything to do with Amityville. It's not sitting in the Anvil house or dealing anything to do with Anvil the Curse or any thing at all. It's really Anvil in name only. Um, yeah, it's a different little story, but it has nothing to do with like Amityville. The Anvil Curse collections are actually literally based on a book, on Anvil like kind of like cursed object book. But the Anvil Curse is just like many like Anvil because you can use the name. It's not really like a legitimate sequel in the series of the films. So Trauma, I won't go too far on these because I already showed these last night. The Killer's one of 13. Paul Nash is in this one. And the police are blundering in the dark. And they truly are. Two more to go. You cannot say. So it's been, yeah. I know a lot of people like did. See, that's one that I like. I'm a big fan of like the Handville series, so I have over the years made sure to like to try and track down every one. I actually like the Killers 130. I know a lot of people don't because it's definitely a slower pace one, but I like the way that's done. I like the reveal, and I was surprised with the way some of the people that were killed. I enjoyed it. All right, so the last two here that are left are what you're going to think. They're the 4K releases. So far, there's been two 4K releases put up by by Vinegar Syndrome. There's only one other. Well, there's another one coming out now this month, and there's one coming out in November as well. I've been collecting the 4K releases. One of them was gifted to me. That's what I'm going to share right now, and I was super excited to get this. It was an amazing gift, along with some other films, which blew my mind. It's two channels called Trauma. Trauma, yeah, you're right. And that is Tammy and the T Rex. I love this movie. I really do love this film. I'm not even gonna lie. This is fantastic. It's got such a great cast, and it is over the top, but its opening is wonderful. Denise Richards, Paul Walker, Terry Kaiser, George Buckflowers. They got him again. John Goff is in this. Sean Whalen, um, Efren Ramirez. Just an incredible cast, and such a fun movie. The late Paul Walker, yeah. And of course, the movie. Yep, that Paul Walker, the Paul Walker from Fast and Furious. So it's the guy you're thinking of. The movie that got so many people that never heard of Vinegar Syndrome ever before to watch Vinegar Syndrome. I gotta read it. Joe Ruben for Vinegar Syndrome paid for the interview that with Denise that we used on Valentine Disc. Oh wow, Tim Zimmer was recording the same session. So you have kind of history of Vinegar Syndrome then, which is actually kind of cool. They're actually cool guys. They seem like really cool guys. Obviously, you can tell, Jamie, that I love Vinegar Syndrome stuff, as you can see by this extremely long video that I'm doing tonight. Rad. Uh, a lot of people had no. A lot of Vinegar Syndrome fans really didn't know how big of a movie this was going to be. And a lot of Rad fans really didn't know how big of a deal this was going to be for. Didn't know what Vinegar Syndrome was. So you got like these Vinegar Syndrome fans that like are used to this kind of low budget, kind of cheesy fun stuff, and you got these people that are like rabid Rad fans that actually have a Facebook page and are like super serious about it. And those you would think never the twain would meet, but no, they did, cause definitely cool. This it's insane. It is a fun film. I'm gonna bring up Brad and Tam and T Rex and rewatch them again actually. So guys, there you go. It took me 158 minutes, but I showed you guys every single Vinegar Syndrome title in my collection. Thank you, Terry and Dan. I really appreciate that. Oh, for the apartment. That is a cool one. Right, forever, definitely. Am I going to bed soon? I am going to bed directly after this video because right here in Canada, right now, it is 3 a.m. in the morning. Uh, I want to thank you all for coming in. Thank you, Terry and Dan, um, so much, by the way. Um, I hope you guys have an incredible DVD. So, oh, wait a second. Do I have? Yes, I do. I can't go yet because I am going to be a man of my word. You're killing me, guys. Let's do this really quickly. Here we go. Lust for Freedom. Oh yeah, they did DVDs. They got a big DVD section. This is actually a trauma one, and it's out of print now. Stephanie Crawford actually told me that this was going to print. That's how I got it. The Cutthroats, which is John Hayes, again another limited edition one. I think this one out of print as well. But there's a Blu-ray that's out of print too because that was on the 5 years. Dracula Sucks, which I have this edition because there's the other version of it on there as well. Yeah, one of the look, I guess the more adult ones was Sex in the Comics, which I picked up because not for the main feature, which is kind of unique and kind of weird, uh, but it got like two like adult cartoon like films on here as well, which is actually really cool. Thank you, Jason. Actually, I'm actually loving this stream. Driving collection. If you're gonna get any driving collection when you don't have it, Death Force and Vampire Hookers. They also did like adult stuff in the driving collection too. So there's Vixens of Kung Fu and of course Oriental Blue. And I have a couple of their Picorama ones, which is Hot Lunch and Baby Rosemary, and Tropica Desire and Fansura, which I really can't show, and the movie Runaway Nightmare, which the Blu-ray went out of print really, really quickly, but the DVD did not. It's still around. So if you want to see Runaway Nightmare, it's a really crazy movie about like slavery and word farmers and all that type of stuff. But there you go. I did it in 160 minutes. All the Blu-rays, all the 4Ks, all the DVDs. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I truly appreciate you guys spending the night here with me. Have we seen Silver Bullet? I love Silver Bullet. Thank you, SJ. Found a dual DVD for 99 cents. Oh, cool. White Gorilla and Red Lugosi and Brooklyn Gorilla. Thanks, James, for coming back in again. I'm super. I want to get you on here sometime, if you don't mind. We can chat on here. Have a great evening, guys. Check out Just the Disc, who just put out aside from the podcast that he does, which is amazing. Just the Disc and Pure Cinema. He just started his YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check that out. I am Aaron. You have a wonderful, fantastic evening. This is my movie library. You are the cult of cinema. You guys rock it. And I think I'm going to pass out. Talk to you later.